podcast is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com.
Between the time when wargamers played with chainmail and the rise of the Wizards of the Coast, there was an age of gamers. And unto this, Gygax, destined to bear the crown jewel of TSR upon a troubled brow, to show you all how to roll for initiative.
The Roll for Initiative podcast, issue number 75. I'm one of your hosts, DM Vince, sitting alongside DM Nick.
Howdy, everybody.
DM Matthew.
Hello, everyone.
And DM Will.
Hey, what's up?
And we're back for another issue of the Roll for Initiative podcast, as usual. So let's just jump right into things and talk about what's been going on. And Will, you said you were going to a new convention this weekend?
Yeah, there's a gaming convention called Game On. I'm just going to go there Saturday. This is its first year. I don't know what the attendance is going to be. It's between 50 to 100, that's what I understand. I have no clue yet. So I'll be there demoing a lot of board games. So it's only one day. It's going to be in Seattle. Just ready to get there, get it done with, and get back.
So it's like a little logo thing, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, like I said, I'll give you a heads up and let you all know how it turned out on that next Sunday, or the very next day when we have our next podcast.
Sure. Okay, cool. Nick, you been up to anything?
Yeah, actually got a date nailed down for our next game night. So it'll be this Saturday on the 18th. It just seems like every month now it's getting excessively more difficult to get everybody together at the same time. So I'm like, I need to find some more people, honestly. I mean, really, I like the group I have and everything, but it just seems like we can never be all together at the same time.
I'm moving it to Skype or something.
Well, that's an option. I just like having, everybody at the table there. I like a face-to-face game. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're gonna have most of the people there this Saturday, but I'm gonna scout around, see if I can find anybody in this area. I think I know of at least one person who lives nearby, at least in Akron, who has a group, and they might be willing to come on in. Who knows? So I'm gonna put the word out. I need players. So just kind of bring some more blood in. So,
blood, yeah. Ooh.
Well, you know what I mean.
Just
need some more people, and I think that's just about it. I've really had, I don't know why, but this past couple of weeks I've really had a hankering to play Call of Cthulhu.
Really?
Yeah, I just, every so often I just get this itch to play. I really do, and it's hard to find players. I might get our group to maybe play a one-off again. We did a one-off for that, the one quintessential adventure, The Haunting, that's in the rule book.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I like that one.
Which is a great scenario, but I'm hoping that we can kind of mix things up a little bit with some of the, because we have a mixed group of adults and some kids, but I'd like to get some more of the adults if we want to play Call of Cthulhu, because that's not exactly a game you want to play with a 9-year-old.
Well, that's funny how you brought that up, because I was at the gaming store yesterday and I was talking to the manager there, and they want to get involved in a Call of Cthulhu game, and one of the other guys said he wants to play, and I said this is a mature adult-oriented game, and I mean by being, it's just that you need mature adults. And two scenarios that I'm looking at doing right now, just real quick, is Ghost Ship. Remember the movie Ghost Ship?
Yeah.
Or Wrong Turn.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah, I'm looking at. I wouldn't have a problem with the guys who are teens in our group playing. They can handle certain adult type themes you get to there, but the real younger kids, I mean, that wouldn't be something to their liking, and wouldn't be something I want to expose them to right away. Until they get a little bit older, so they can handle.
Go ahead, damage them while they're young, so they can grow up to be crazy people.
I hope not, but we'll see. That's kind of what's on my gaming front right there. So.
All right. Matt?
Yeah. Well, I'm in a similar situation as Nick in that my gaming group just keeps having things pop up to where we're not able to game.
Frustrating, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So we'll be actually gaming after we're done recording this podcast. So,
oh wow,
finally. So it'll be like finish recording, head to friend's house, and play some Deadlands. So yes, I'll be excited. And then this week I've got like 4 different HeroClick tournaments to play, and it's just like a nutty week for that.
They still have the HeroClick tournaments? Wow.
Yeah,
you know they do. Even where I live, the new game store down in Kent, Ohio, Gaming Grounds, I think they still have like HeroClix going on. Like,
yeah, HeroClix was brought back. WizKids stopped it, and they brought them back.
Yeah.
On WizKids' website. On WizKids' website, they actually have a search engine for events in your area, so you can just put in your zip code and find all events within like a 10, 15, 20-mile radius. So.
I bought a whole bunch of them back when they were stopped making them because I was using them for my superhero games like DC and Marvel.
Yeah,
and everyone's
perfect.
They're like, "Oh, it's done. They're never making any more." Now they're coming back. I like playing the game itself. So.
Oh yeah. And the thing is, they've got so much product coming out. It's getting kind of hard to keep up.
I always thought it interesting when they made the HeroClix of Cthulhu.
Yes, I have that.
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Yes, I do. I was actually, when I was running Marvel superheroes.
I could just imagine everybody playing Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Professor X or whatever, and all of a sudden here comes the big baddie and thump.
Yeah.
The big HeroClix of Cthulhu.
Yeah. In my game, Red Skull and Hatemonger were trying to raise Cthulhu to destroy the world. So
that's such a cool scenario.
Yeah. And they were like a couple passages being read out of a book away from Cthulhu being raised.
Oh my
And they
God.
managed to stop Red Skull from finishing their reading this passage. Otherwise, they would have had to combat Cthulhu.
Nice.
Yeah.
Stupid Red Skull.
Yes, but in my game, he now no longer has eyes. They elemental converted his eyes to oxygen.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did mention that once. We were talking about that. Like melted his eyes out of his eyes.
Yeah, they're just like poof. At that point, he can't read. So they saved the world through maiming Red Skull.
Oh, wait, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Was that part of the HorrorClix line, or is?
Yeah, that was part of the HorrorClix line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could still probably find them not that much.
I got Starro and Galactus.
Oh, nice. I had the original Galactus. I got him at Origins when he first came out, and then I saw vendors buying them for like $125 on the spot when I paid $75 for them. So I'm like, heck with that. I'm going to Gen Con. I'll get one there. So I sold them for $125 this day of and made $50. Then went to Gen Con and wasn't able to get one.
And that always works.
Yeah, but at some point I'll get another one. And then Starro was kind of when I was kind of waning from playing, so I didn't actually get a Starro, and then the game died out.
So what about you, Vince? How did you kind of did an Oriental Adventures Skype game?
Yes. As of last night, I started another actual play podcast for RFI called The Legend of Fin Fang Foom. And I'll put the link in the show notes so Matt can put it in our show notes. And so far I have 7 players. It went really well last night, and they I won't really say much because I'm going to put it out, but they had a great time with all the characters. Surprisingly, there's no samurais and no barbarian.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Fin Fang Foom, that's the Marvel character.
There's a HeroClix for him too.
Really?
Yes, there is. I
just remember Fin Fang Foom from Marvel Ultimate Alliance. That was like one of the first big baddies you face.
Yep.
But the website I jazzed up with all different like Oriental and Chinese, Japanese things, and people were journaling about the adventure. So there's a lot to read on here.
Nice.
That's nice. That's awesome.
Background setting and everything, and
yeah.
So this time I went a little out for it. So, but you can go there to epicwords.com/Fin Fin, and you can see it right now. Yeah. Other than that, I really haven't been doing much.
Yeah. I found out at one of the local game stores every 2 weeks, Tim Kask runs an OD&D game. So, yeah, I'm going to have to see if my Thursday schedules are going to be free for a while and see if I can try to sneak in on that, because that just sounds like it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's that. Let's see. Any news? Well, I know we have some news about our star reviews, Nick.
Yes. Yeah. Should we talk about our star reviews right now then?
Might as well.
Well, okay. You sound kind of reluctant. But as of what?
We reached our goal.
Yes, we did. As of this week, we have made 100 starred reviews on iTunes.
That's awesome.
And there was much rejoicing. Hey. No, that's awesome. That's so great. So, so everybody, if you still want to get us to 1,000 starred reviews, head over to iTunes, type in your search for Roll for Initiative over at the iTunes store, and you could find us there. And also you could contact us at rfistaff@gmail.com. And you could also go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/R5podcast. You can get us on Facebook too. And we got 3 reviews that put us right on the number of 100. So our first one is from James Scherer, and it's a 5-star review. He says, a perfect find. So having recently joined my first 1E game run by an absolutely stellar DM, I was happy to have stumbled upon RFI. I've cherry-picked about 5 episodes so far, and all have been great. Your podcast is helping me enjoy 1E to the fullest, I assure you. Keep it coming, fellas. So thank you, James. We appreciate that very much. And number 2 here is from Ashley Midkiff, and she gave us 5 stars. I see a trend here. And excellent old school gaming podcast. And she says, I enjoy listening to these podcasts, trying to get caught up on them again. Been thinking about running first or second edition AD&D game and possible campaign. Good to know people still play this classic and have provoked me to play and even run again. Thanks. We provoked her. Oh my goodness, but in a good way.
What is it, like Kinder taunting?
Could be. That was the last show we did talk about what Kender. So
that's he's good. Oh, he has a good repertoire with the little people. So
yeah, don't bring that up. That's a nightmare.
And our last review that put us at 100 is by Soren the Bolt, and the title is Pie, and 5 stars. Now, hey there. He says, hey there. I was just listening to the latest episode, 273, so Volume 273. That was our Hyborian Age campaign one.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I just got to say, mentioning Pie did it for me. This is how now the best podcast ever. I love Pie. In case you didn't know, Pie. Soren of the Wonderbolts.
I'm confused. Awesome. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Well, I was listening to the show today, and we were talking about how we were getting really close to 100 reviews. And I think it was me or somebody else mentioned, well, we could just have a review of someone says just, I like pie. There we go. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So there you go. I like pie.
I like pie too.
Pie.
Hey, reviews. So
you can name this episode Pie.
Yes, episode Pie.
Do you know what's funny about when you mentioned the word pie, the first thing that came to mind was a story that I read in one of those Eerie magazines or Vampirella magazines from back in the day. It was like a 3-4 part story that went on for like 4 or 5 issues of an alien that crash landed, and they called them Pi. But the Pi I'm referring to is 3.14, whatever the rest of those numbers are. And we said Pi. That's the first thing. I don't know why. Maybe I'm going crazy.
Maybe you are, but no, you're not.
Yeah,
gotta be a little crazy gamer, so that's cool. But and I think pie, as in like blueberry or chocolate or lemon meringue.
Why don't you do Christopher Walken like in Pie?
Lemon meringue pie.
No, Christopher Walken like in Pie.
No, not him. He can't.
Pie, it's crazy. Meringues, blueberry. Good.
Okay, so issue number 75 of the pie.
Grandma crust, good. No. All right, but anyway, thank you for the reviews, and keep them coming, and we'll try to read them as much as we can. So please do that, or we will send Jason out, or Vince out to kill you.
Great. So that was all the stars we got for this week. Now our new goal is to get us to 1,000 fans on Facebook. This was the thing that Jason and I started a long time ago. We got pretty close. We got over, before Jason left, we were close to 900. Now we're at 950 almost at this podcast. So we need another 50 fans to like us, get us to 1,000. Suppose you get something special when you get 1,000 on Facebook. I don't know. It's a rumor I heard.
Yeah. Well, there's only one way to find out. Like us on Facebook, and once we find out, if we get something special, we'll let you know.
Facebook. We get pie.
Yeah, pie. Facebook, yeah. You almost had me say facebook.com/pie, Nick. Facebook.com/RFI podcast. And let's head into some sage advice.
Master, they're at the gates again. Master, it looks like another band of adventurers.
Adventurers again? Always the same. Coming to me for sage advice.
Sage advice. We're going to sing, and I don't care if Nick doesn't. Sage advice.
Sage advice. Hey, dude, we got some sage advice.
If you want to send in your sage
not parsley or oregano, but sage advice.
When you all do that, I'm just going to play Ozzy or something out loud so people can hear that.
If you want to send in your sage advice, rfistaff@gmail.com, or you can locate the website and send us a voicemail at 570-825-4210, the hotline.
Hotline, all right.
And actually, we have one email here from DM Minmaxer. And he wants to know, he has two questions. First question is, what are your jobs in real life? The real world.
Okay. Wow, okay.
And he also asks, can I have an autographed DM's guide?
Oh.
What, he wants an autograph from somebody else or from us? I don't know.
Right.
Wait. What does he want? He wants an autographed DM's guide from who?
It just says to have an autographed DMG.
Well, what edition? First edition, hopefully.
You probably meant, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, we send him an autographed 4th edition DMG.
He'll never come back.
All right, so let's, if you don't mind, Will, why don't you let people know what you do in real life, other than our show?
Oh, well, I feel bad talking about this because I don't feel like rubbing anything in. But me, I am a retired Marine. I joined the Marine Corps at 17, retired just a year or so ago. That put me at the age of 40, turning 41. So, and that is all I do. I am retired. That doesn't mean I'm unemployed because I still get paid. So my job is as a retired Marine. You
get the Marine pension now, right?
Yep, that's what I get.
Yes. Lucky.
And so I turned 42 in March. This coming March, next month I turn 42. And therefore, all I will do from here on out to the day I pass on is just game, do demos, game, do conventions, do demos, game, and so on. You get the point.
So we're going to have to dedicate a show in March called Get to the Chopper, Will. That's what he's birthday.
Yes. No. Get to the wheelchair, Will. That's
all right, so Nick.
Yeah, well, real life, I work as an electronics test technician. I work for a company called QED, Quality Electrodynamics, out in Mayfield Village, Ohio, and we build MRI equipment for both Toshiba and Siemens out in Germany, and I test those MRI devices when they are after they're built, and very high end electronics equipment. They sell for tens of thousands of dollars each, and that's one of the things I do, and it's really enjoyable. I enjoy my job. I really enjoy what I do. It's just, and that's my day job.
That's your day job. Okay. I'm an IT consultant right now. I'm in between contracts. Usually I would just consult on networks and build them from the ground up. That's usually what I would be doing. Matt?
I work in a R&D lab for a large corporation. Unfortunately, I have lots of paperwork signed prohibiting what I can and cannot say. But
non-disclosure.
Yes, because stuff I see won't actually hit the market for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So, yes, I see things of a certain product far in advance, and I do the testing and send the information back to the engineers working on it, and they, whether or not their designs are working.
First engineered from the UFOs that we got in 47, right?
Yup, exactly.
I knew it.
Exactly. That I can say. They didn't make me sign the Alien NDA, so.
Oh, okay.
But that's
you're like a Dr. Oaken from Independence Day.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
it's like electronics R&D?
No, physical materials.
Oh, okay.
So it's a consumer product.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, Matt works for Chuck Norris. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Thanks for blowing my cover.
I know. No.
Chuck Norris. Oh my God.
As far
Watch
as-
out.
Yeah. As far as having an autographed DMG, no. We don't give out autographed DMG.
Yeah, just hand them out. I mean, if we start with one person, we're going to have to do everybody out there, give them one. So,
And the rising prices of now first edition books, so we can't afford it now anyway.
I know. And we talked about that last time. It's like gone insane since the reprints are going to be out.
I told you all this stuff when I sent that email out. When I posted on the forum, I was just on that day and I'm saying like these things have gone up $5, $10, $15. Some have went up, 20, 30, 40, 50%. I'm thinking like, what's going on here?
And I put up that big post on my blog how Wizards of the Coast is ruining my game. Jacking up the prices of my game because now everyone's not going to want to buy it because now they're $15, $30, and a new game is going to look at it and go, well, this book is crappy with no design in it. Why would I buy this when I can buy, I don't know, White Wolf's book for $40 that's full color and beautifully printed on nice paper?
I did go to Half Price Books here just a day or so ago, and I saw one DMG there in very fine condition. It looked like it has went through minimal use and everything. They want $20 for it.
The new cover?
No, with the demon on the front of it.
Oh.
The one I think yours fell apart, disintegrated, what have you.
I know. I want to cry about that. 2 more books fell apart on me. I have a story about that too. AEG is a great company. I just want to put that out there because I had 2 books that fell apart at the spine just recently. Their new books, Legend of the Five Rings. I wrote them and I told them the books fell apart and they were like, "Oh, we apologize. What happened?" I explained to them. They wanted a picture and they're sending me free books now.
Wow, how nice!
You can do that anywhere you get this stuff. If something tears up, just send them the pictures, multiple pictures, and they're going to hook you up.
Yeah, they didn't even ask for it back. I'm like, "Do you want these back?" They're like, No, that's fine. We'll just send you. We take pride in our product, and we want to make sure that you continue to buy from us. So here is some books. Enjoy.
Kudos to AEG. Good company. I love them.
Yeah, I've always liked AEG, and I was kind of disappointed when the new books fell apart, and they just handled it professionally, and I was very happy.
Yep, I like that.
Anyway, we have our last email here from DM Alexander. It says, hey guys, where is the town generator mentioned in issue number 27 or something?
Oh, wow.
I can't find it online, and it's not posted on your website. Please, if you could put it up for me, it would save me a lot of time in killing my players. Not just kidding. Thanks.
Town generator. Oh, no, you want to kill your player. Well, the player characters. Don't want to kill the players, per se. That would be bad.
Yeah, geez, back then we didn't keep very good notes. That was before Matt was actually doing the notes for us. So it was Jason doing the notes. And nothing against him, but, he was busy. So we got to show up, but whatever notes we remembered, we put in there.
27.
I found one. If you go to rdin, that's a rdinn.com/town_generator.php. And I put the link here in the show notes here so Matt can put it in our notes. And it's pretty much, you put the town name in, you put the town size, how much percent of humans, elves, half-elf, dwarven, halfling, kinder, whatever, law enforcement. generate, and it gives you pretty much a little random town. It's called the Red Dragon in-town generator.
There you go. Nothing that Google can't handle.
Yeah. Just a quick Google brought up, that's the first thing that card up, just in case. But the one we were talking about back then, I don't remember.
Yeah, because I can remember what the page looks like, but I cannot remember the address. I'll have to see if I can dig around and look and find it.
Yeah. I didn't have time to listen to a couple episodes, but I was looking through the notes and I couldn't find them.
Yeah, because I have all the notes going back to issue 29. Yeah, so I'll troll through all the notes and see if I can find it, and if I do, I will post it in the show notes. So.
Let's see, and that's about it. That's it for Sage Advice, rfistaff@gmail.com, or you can call us, and let's head into Table Manners.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, a fella knew how to judge a fireball on the fly and how far the cleric could push the undead he turned. I tell ya, with all these min-maxers and munchkins, metagame and power game, there's something missing that I'm here to learn ya. Now sit down and crack your book while I commence to teach you some.
Table Manners.
Okay, everybody, today on Table Manners, we are going to talk about a old module that came out in 1984. It's a solo module for first edition, MV1 Midnight on Dagger Alley. Now, 1983 and 1984 must have been the popular years for solo adventures, because I think that's when the majority came out, because as I was looking through all my modules yesterday, I found a couple others that fell during that time period. And I just want to cover those real quickly before I get to the module. In 1983, they came out with 01, the Gem and the Staff, if you all remember that one. Do you all remember these modules?
Yeah.
Gem and the Staff, which was for an 8th level thief. And then they had M-Solo 1, or M-Sol 1, M-Sol 2, and those were the ones for the Invisible Ink, if you remember those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blizzard Pass and Maze of the
Riddling Minotaur.
Riddling Minotaur, that was it right there. And I believe the Blizzard Pass was another one for Thief, and I believe it was 1st through 3rd level. And the Maze of the Riddling Minotaur, I think it was for any class. It was 1 to 10. I can't remember too well on that, but I know it was like 1 to 10 or something.
Well, they did a whole bunch of them back for basic D&D.
Yes, they did.
That's the ones right there with the basic and expert. The Blizzard Pass was basic, and the Maze of the Riddling Minotaur was the expert one. Now, the Gem and the Staff, I think, was basic. The Blade of Vengeance was also basic because they had a 7th-level elf. So it was like, I think it was a fighter mage user, as a matter of fact. That's what he was. He was a fighter mage in that one. So that was a while ago. Now, Midnight on Dagger Alley, on the other hand, did not use Invisible Ink. And the Gem and the Staff and the Blade of Vengeance, let me back to those two, were actually simple adventures which didn't utilize Invisible Ink or the magic viewer as Midnight on Dagger Alley required. Okay, like I said, came out in 1984. It was set in a dangerous thieves' quarter, and some people confused. They thought it was set up in a city. No, it's not a city. This is just a thieves' quarter. So you could have, like, let me think of a good city. Waterdeep, for example. Let's say it has a thieves' quarter. This thing would take place just in the thieves' quarter portion of the city. Now, the city is broken into 4 portions. In the module, they called them levels. If anyone read this, you understand where I'm coming from. They called it levels. Mm-hmm. The levels were, and the 4 maps that went with each level, rooftops, the 2nd story, the 1st story, or actually the street level, and then the underground portion. So you had your 4 different levels. There was 3 characters, pre-generated characters that came with this adventure or this module. One was a monk, one was an assassin, and one was a thief. Yes, I said it right, an assassin. They actually had an assassin as a pre-generated character you can play. Yeah. Each of those characters, this is the fun thing, each of them had their own special adventure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember which one they were. Rescue the Princess. There was a scavenger hunt for the spell components, or a scavenger hunt for components for a spell, some kind of unique spell or something. And the other one was search for hidden treasure.
Yeah, they each start at a different page if you look at their description.
Right. They each start on a different page with their special mission. Each of these characters, these pre-generated characters, are, I believe, 6th level. Yeah, they're 6th level. They're 6th level characters.
Yes.
So, what's interesting about this one here, it uses a magic viewer. So when you open the adventure up, you can't read. What do you call those? Pick your own adventure path books. Remember those things?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's using the same format pretty much in this one. Okay, so as the thief or the assassin or the monk, whichever character, as they are traveling around and you use this magic viewer and you hit a certain area and it's designated with certain things. And it's kind of funny how they do this module because all these things are referred to as monsters, whether it's a trap or if it's actually a monster or whatever encounter. It's actually considered a monster encounter. And then at the very beginning of the module, it's going to explain to the user of the module. So this thing is this a DM and a player, or is this a person that sits down and does it? To me, as I read it and look at it, it's as if you are the only person using this module.
Yeah.
You see where I come from? So that's the difference between this and like the other two, 0102, the Gemini Staff and Belated Vengeance or whatever it was called, whereas that requires a DM and one player. This Midnight on Dagger Alley is just a player. So you use the viewer as you're using your character to move around. If it hits a certain designated spot, you go back to the module. It's like a cross index or go to this number. If you do this, go to this page and then just, follow the results and do as told. Like the fun part with this module though, is how you deal with the monsters. Because depending on your alignment, you can talk to them. And if you roll a 6-sider, 1 to 3, the monster says, I'm going to kill you. Or 4 to 6, the monster says, okay, you can pass, or whatever the case may be. So it's kind of weird how this module is set up. Yeah, it's very interesting. I think it's really fun. And I think one of the things brought up was, could this be used with a party of multiple characters or whatever? I mean,
could be.
It could. Yes, it could be. It would be handled a little different. You probably would have more monster encounters. It all depends on where the character's at, though. I mean, for example, if the character is running around on the rooftop, well, I think that as I was reading it, I never ran this by myself, so I'm just going by what I've read and how I studied this. There's traps on the rooftop that you can avoid, or if you're caught doing something and you try to get away, I mean, there's so many rules that is introduced in here. What was one of them? Leaping? I believe leaping was one of them.
Yeah.
Leaping or jumping or something like that. So they had some rules for that, rules that engage in, other monsters and so on. It's just amazing. It's really a good module. It's very fun for a person. Well, like two of y'all, you can't find a gaming group, you're bored. Well, guess what? You can pull MV1 out and play with yourself. I didn't like the way that sounded.
No, you didn't.
I'm sorry.
By yourself, you mean?
I apologize. That's not the way. I mean, you can play this module, solo. That's what I should have said.
Yes.
I'm sorry about that. So, I mean, yes, it's an interesting module. You use the viewer, and so then, the purpose of the viewer is it's red, and it goes against the blue, what color was it? Bluish?
There was it was like a mix of like both red and blue.
Yeah.
And it filtered one of them out.
Those 3D glasses.
Yeah, it was kind of weird how it does it, but when you set it up and everything, I was saying it looked like a greenish color to me. I guess we look at colors different, but it goes up there and then you see the magic word and say like, oh, well, this is an encounter, or this is a monster, or this is what happens, or it tells you to do this, or this is what you find. So yeah, it's very cool, and the way it's set up, I guess you can play it multiple ways. They said it's not the same all the time. I'm trying to figure out how that works out. You know what? I know what it means, because it depends on where you start at in the Thieves' Quarter as far as where you go, and that's what I think they mean, that it never played the same way each time. Because if you start at this quarter, you're going to run into different encounters and different monsters and different traps. And like I said, I mean, it depends on where you want to explore. There is no set path. This is not a railroad. You have your mission. From there on, you go around and explore the Thieves' Quarter as you wish. So that's what I gleaned from this. Very interesting module, very fun. If you can find it fully complete, I recommend getting it. I saw a couple online. They weren't really that expensive. I saw, $10 and $12 for them.
Yeah, as long as they got the Magic Viewer with them. But even then, if you don't have the Magic Viewer, just get yourself a piece of red cellophane.
Yeah.
And that would work.
Sure. Yeah, that'll work fine. That's awesome. And I tell anyone to get in any of these modules. I wasn't really a big fan of the M-Solo ones, the M-Sol 1, M-Sol 2, but 01 and 02, great adventures if it's just a DM and a player. Midnight on Dagger Alley, however, is just for one person to play solo. And it can be set up to where multiple players can do it, multiple thieves, different areas. They want to start in different areas. You do this thing, you do this thing, this thing. And the rules set up in there and how it explains how to do initiative, how it does combat. It's a little different than the normal rules. Let me just say that. It's a little different when you do this module because you're doing it solo. Great module. I love it. So what do y'all think?
I was thinking, looking through it today when before the show, I was thinking this could be really mined for a pretty good adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, too.
Yeah, written for like a one big group of 4 people to play for one Sunday afternoon.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
It takes a little working to it. I mean, you wouldn't be able to use the module itself. You'd have to take key points out of it, write it down on your own. But I think with an experienced DM, you could pull out a really good adventure with this.
I used to have a copy of this. And over the years, I don't know what happened to it. But my recollections of this, I remember when I saw this, because I had the M-Solo ones. I still do have those, but I think what was going on here versus the other ones, the M-Solo ones, you had that yellow magic marker, I guess, probably with a little bit of like a lemon in it, because the invisible ink type thing. Now with the M-Solo ones, once you did the invisible ink stuff, it's done, it's stained out, and the replayability of that is gone. When MV1 came out, they did something different. They used this Magic Viewer, and then the replayability went up considerably. I mean,
yes,
you have
definitely.
Yeah, you have 3 different characters that you, at least pre-gens, that you could use. Or if you want to, you could probably bring your own, as long as they're within the same character levels range. Mm-hmm. And the replayability went up. And I recall this, like, when I saw this, I'm like, wow, now I can play whenever I want. I don't have to wait till, like, the weekend when I could get together with all my friends. I can, get this, and I can play whenever I want during the week, and my parents would not be the wiser.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I know they changed the rules a bit with the X Solo and XSL2. Instead of having Magic Marker or the Viewer, it was all like to choose your adventure path, and you were able to write actual notes. It was weird. You could write notes on the side of the board of the module to give you tips in the future of where not to go.
Yes, you could leave notes for your future self.
Yeah.
Yes, I have that, and I'm just like, why would anyone do that? That just I'm like, okay, for one, I'm very weird when it comes to just writing in any of my modules, any of my books. I don't. So the concept they're encouraging me to do that is just like, no, don't. It's just
going to ruin it.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I had the same feeling when I had those M-Solo adventures with that marker. I'm like, yeah, but I got to reveal what happens in this encounter. Okay, I got to use the marker, and oh, man.
Yeah, see, I remember a while ago there was a big supplement. I don't recall if it being D&D or not. It might have been a independent company that created it. It was a nice sized book, probably around 40 to 50 pages. It had a picture of a paladin in the front, or maybe a skeleton holding 2 swords. But what happens is it was one of those choose your own adventure paths, and it was about as big as a player's handbook, thicker. But you had a character sheet. So as you went in there and you get your options, you get into a fight, you got that character sheet that came with the book to keep track of everything. Mm-hmm. So, if they really came out with more of those in that sense instead of the one-shot magic marker deal. Yeah, because I remember the magic markers, but I thought they were white in color, but they smelled lemony. It's been so long. Yeah. That's been too long. 30 years ago. But yeah, no, I like those books. I like those choose your own adventure paths. Not that the small little ones, where you just read, and it says you die.
Right.
Oh, wow, great. Yeah, I would rather just go ahead and just have a character sheet than when you get into combat and it says, well, if you defeat the wolf, you go to this page. If the wolf defeats you, you're dead. You're nothing but a pile of bones or whatever. And then, whatever. Whatever. It's all good.
Yeah, there's actually a really good series of books by Joe Dever, the Lone Wolf series.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Dever, yes.
Dever. Okay.
Yeah. I had, as a kid, like volumes 1 through 12, and apparently it goes up to, there's like 15 or 20 of them. And they're actually like full-size paperback novels, but they're choose your own adventure. And you also have a character sheet where you have your hit points, you have your inventory list, and your weapons. And as you go from book to book to book, your equipment and your powers, your experience, everything carries over. So you can take your character from this monk that had everyone in his monastery slaughtered, and he's the last remaining one, hence the Lone Wolf name of the series, and progress him to go through and destroying all the evil in the land that wiped out his people.
I see here, Lone Wolf Book 1, Flight from the Dark on Amazon by Joe Dever.
Yeah, they're really good books.
Now, I do recall now that there was this trend in the early to mid 80s that the whole solo adventure thing was kind of taking off. Mm-hmm. This module being a part of that. I remember one series of books that was very good for doing the solo adventuring stuff was the Fighting Fantasy series of books. If you remember those, they were by Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone. And there was the first one in that, The Warlock of Firetop Mountain.
Yeah, I got those. Those are awesome.
Those are fantastic because, like what Matt was talking about, not only did you get to choose your own adventure path, but there was a game mechanic involved. You had stats, you had combat, and all that stuff, and it just it was a nice way of you passing your time if you didn't have a gaming group available to play with, and you just wanted to do something that where you could do kind of sort of role playing, but it's almost like it's almost like with the video games that came out later on. It's like going through the dungeon in the video game in a way, but you have it all right there in a book. But I remember those were fantastic, and I think they're still available, or at least some of them are.
There's another one I found also that was linked to it called Fablelands. The War-Torn Kingdom is another similar choose-your-adventure style. Okay. So that one's pretty cheap, $8.99.
Yeah, and then there was another series by Joe Dever, Freeway Warrior. It's like it's set in post-apocalyptic Denton, Texas, and you're like, yes, Texas.
Well, that's right where I live.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it had like a giant map of Texas, and you had to take your caravan of people to like a better area, and you had highway bandits and various other things along the way. And you actually had to keep track of the amount of food and water you had as you progressed through it. Otherwise, you would starve to death or die of dehydration.
You just eat the people.
Yeah.
This is not Oregon Trail or whatever it was.
Yeah. It was
not the Dahmer Party.
It's the Donner Party.
The Dahmer Party, yeah.
It was kind of like Mad Max meets the Oregon Trail. Actually, now that I think about it. But that was another fun one. Yeah.
Cool. So I recommend picking this up if you could find it. I know I saw this. I got this for $3 on F-Price Books. I did one for $1 there as well, but it didn't have the viewer on it. So I guess I
have to admit, though, this is like when I'm looking through this is one of like the only adventures where I see where in the Watering Monsters that you find a Kenku.
Oh, now that's very good. Yeah, I mean there are a lot of interesting new monsters in here that you normally wouldn't run into. And I didn't really harp too much on it and everything, but the counters actually work pretty well where they're located at. But yeah, the Kenku. Why would you run into a Kenku there in the Thieves' Quarter? Well, that's what they do.
Yeah, that's what I like about modules. If you want to find a monster that your rules lawyer and the group isn't used to, or those min-maxers aren't used to, just pull up some of those old modules, and you can find some really wacky monsters that just never made it into the public view.
Well, yeah, like ones like the Kenku and the Osquip, right out of the Fiend Folio.
Yeah.
Yep. Kudos to the Fiend Folio. Great monsters in there.
Yep.
All right. Tell us what you think, and then we'll head into game mechanics.
Okay.
Oh man, what the heck is that? Stand aside, you fool! I have a spell that will work here! What do you mean I can't hit with that? Oh, right, fine. Show it to me in the book.
Welcome to Game Mechanics.
Okay, folks, it's DM Nick here, and Game Mechanics, I think, kind of going with our theme from our table manners about solo adventures. We'll talk about DMing a solo adventure or DMing for one player.
A lot of people questioned.
Yeah, and I think I got some pretty good tips for this. I put some thought into this, and this has occurred to me from time to time. It's like, what if, especially now in our day and age where you don't see a whole lot of brick and mortar stores anymore for gaming, and trying to get together with a group like from time to time might be difficult. Maybe you only can find one player, maybe two at the most. So maybe here's some ideas, some tips, maybe running a one-person adventure for you and your one other player, or if you're the player and the other person's the DM. So here's some ideas. Well, first thing I was thinking about, I think to use an analogy with movies, you want to make the adventure very cinematic. The single PC is your star of the film or your star of the story, and you're going to have lots of supporting characters, lots of NPCs.
Yeah.
So you want to keep the action and intrigue up. So you really want to focus on that single PC. And I'll get a little bit more into this when we talk about maybe a long-term campaign, if we're talking about for like a single-person adventure. When it comes to combat, I think it could be a little difficult because we're near the DM in something like this. You're going to have not only all the monsters that you're going to have to take care of running combat, but you have all the NPCs that I think you're going to have more of that because you have less players that have player characters. So the NPC number is going to go up a little bit more. One way that might help with that is you can hand over combat die rolls to the player for the NPCs that are part of the party. So that's one way of doing that. So the DM doesn't feel so completely overloaded with 10, 20 die rolls of to hits in one combat. Hand over some of that to the player. I mean, if those NPCs are in his party, they're part of the adventuring party. Have him do the combat rolls. No harm in doing that at all. Now, when we get beyond the adventure and maybe look for a long-term campaign for your one-person adventure, I think it's going to be really interesting as far as plot hooks. I think one thing you can look at for the PC is you're going to have a real well fleshed out history about this character because it's all about him or her. It's all about them. They are the star. So what's the person's family like? Like their parents, are they dead or alive? Were they famous or infamous? Do they love their parents or do they hate them? Are they maybe one parent they are good with, but the other parent they're estranged and they have a horrible relationship with it? That could be some plot hooks there. Siblings, same as the parents. Maybe you have an evil twin brother or an evil twin sister or something like that. So, some ideas right there, especially with siblings. Also, you have aunts, uncles, other distant relatives. Maybe you have your father, his brother, your uncle is the duke or a baron of a faraway land, and he's like really evil, and he's maniacal. He's trying to take over the lands that your father has, and that could be one of the plot hooks. Maybe you have to somehow bring this evil baron to justice. So something like that. So, just some ideas. I think having a family background that's detailed from the player character can help tremendously in having plot hooks for an ongoing campaign. But what if they don't have a family? Well, what happened? Were they all like killed by a tribe of orcs, and now you have a rivalry with all the orc tribes around? Or maybe they just mysteriously disappeared, and you're on the search to find out what happened to mom and dad or something like that. So I think having those sorts of things, like I said, a real rich history for the one-player character can help tremendously in plot hooks. And I think one problem that you might have is trying to keep that one-star character alive. I think that could be very difficult because what if all of a sudden they're in combat, character dies? What do you do then? I think in that case, it wouldn't hurt, in the best interest of both people, both DM and player, that you might want to fudge some things when it comes to combat and saving throws. Or a way around that, and I think we talked about this in the in our Hyborian campaign show that we did, was using fate points.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So maybe using that idea like fate points or luck points, and maybe that player character has a certain amount of fate or luck points that they can use to maybe redo, mulligan a die roll, or, maybe escape a particular type of trap or encounter. So and it makes it somewhat cinematic in that respect. So those were some of the things that I had some ideas on doing a single player and single DM adventuring campaign. So what were your thoughts and ideas about this, Vince? Any ideas?
I've done a lot of these campaigns with my former group that I was in. Sometimes a lot of the players didn't show up, or one of those nights when it was just me and one other person.
Mm-hmm.
And that other person happened to not like DMing at all, so I'd be stuck being the DM. So I would just pull these adventures out of the fly. I kind of consider this like the choose your own adventure, but actual person giving you the options as opposed to just laid out 4 options. Mm-hmm. And you just, as a DM, you have to really cater to the one person and just kind of move the story along with him. Giving, like you said, various NPCs and various things happening. You gotta have to have a lot of action in these. You can't have like lull time, like you're in the bar. What do you do? It's kind of like you're in the bar, you're getting a drink, you chow down a meal, and someone taps you on the shoulder. You swing around, look, you see this man is pulling something out of your pocket, things like that. You have to come up with action constantly to keep the story going. It's very hard for DMs that are new to do this.
Yeah. Oh, I could see your point, because you only have one player.
Yeah.
Like if you had like 6, 7, 8 people around a table, you could do the whole, you go into the tavern scenario. Somebody in that party is going to do something that's going to really pick up the action.
Right. And then the players then the players start playing off each other, and they start telling their own stories, and you're just sitting there listening to them.
Right.
So they start to do a lot of the work. I've done a lot of like one GM, one player with the old TMNT system. And what I did in that is they were a mutant. They worked for an organization, and there was a lot of like sneaking espionage. You need to infiltrate this building. You need to take out this person and be quiet about it. So there was a reason they were working alone, but and it was up to them to figure out how to accomplish this. So they could do whatever they wanted, but they had one single solid goal in mind. It's not vague. It was very specific. You must do this. How do you want to do it?
Right.
So, and they get to explore, and then they would like explore the world, and like, okay, we need to go here, and we'll catch this guy coming off the airplane, and we'll be sitting on this tower and like take him out with a sniper rifle. And then they miss, at which point chaos starts ensuing. At one point, I was actually had a player driving a van, being chased by a bunch of police, lobbing sticks of dynamite out the window because he didn't have any grenades. So it ends up with a lot of wacky stuff at times, but it can be compelling as long as the player knows what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. That's a very good point. It's almost like when we talked about Midnight on Dagger Alley. It's like each of those pre-gens has a goal, but how they get to that goal is entirely up to them. So in that respect, it's open-ended. But they do have a goal in mind. They just don't know how to get there.
Right.
Yeah, these are one player and one DM, which is one DM, one character, not like one player playing 6 different characters.
Right. We're talking one PC and one DM.
Yeah.
It's too hard. I know a lot of experienced players who sit at the table and go, "Oh yeah, I'll run my friend's character while he's out this week. He's sick, whatever. He couldn't show up." And you play 2 characters, and you're kind of like, "Well, he'll do this," but 6, I hate doing that myself.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever run into a situation where I had people. I think the most I ever had someone run multiple characters, we're talking about that, is maybe 3. And that was because 2 other people didn't make it and they had their character sheets. Yeah. Most of the time we just tell them, hey, they're up outside of the dungeon with the horses and cart. Okay, keep it simple in that respect.
I usually do it as if the players don't show up, their characters just NPC auto follow.
Oh.
Yeah.
I usually find ways to get rid of the PC for that session. I ran a Star Wars campaign for my home group, and it happened a bit. Like the Wookiee, I missed one session, and for that session they were landing on a space dock. So I had him, for the session he missed, get off the ship, mutter something about Life Day, and run off. And then I had one time the pilot of the ship wasn't able to make it, and they had just landed on another planet. So he all of a sudden found himself having to go to the bathroom for an extended period of time, where he had some bad food, which was really humorous when the players really needed to get off the planet really quick, and he wouldn't come out of the bathroom. At which point he would always lock the cockpit door because he didn't fully trust the other PCs at that point. So they actually busted down the cockpit door to take the ship off the planet.
Nice.
So, but
just trying to picture the Wookiee and the Life Day thing. Now I'm having flashbacks to the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Exactly. Basically, you miss it.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, if you miss one of my sessions, something not bad will happen, but something humiliating will happen to your character.
Yeah. I don't know. I when we're talking about this one-person adventures, it could be very difficult. It's a lot on the DM. So.
Yeah, I see. Well, let me tell you what happened was when I got into playing, I didn't understand. I cut my teeth on chainmail and all that back in the day. And when my sister wanted to teach me how to play, she did a solo thing with me. And how she made it happen was I was a character with amnesia. Ooh. I woke up.
Jason Bourne?
Well, no, not that bad. But I woke up. I had all my gear and everything. But among my gear was all those subtle hints and things that would lead me to my identity. However, I had to travel and encounter various people and go on certain things, and every time I found a piece of the puzzle, almost a piece of the pie, so a piece of the puzzle, I my memory was coming back, to what it was. So, a solo venture, it is what it is. You really got to be very creative, and you can't have it in a box. It's got to be outside of the box. And when it comes to monsters, well, yeah, you're going to run into monsters. Reduce the monsters' abilities. In other words, make them weaker monsters than they normally are. I mean, then again, it is D&D. One saving throw, you fail, you're dead. Well, you know what? Guess what? You wanted to play that dwarf now. You can roll that again. Yeah, so it's difficult. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot more on the DM than it is the player. But like I said, they got a few modules out there where you can run solo.
Yeah.
Like 01 and 02. You look at those examples, and I'm going to tell you, those modules are not that easy.
No.
And, they really are not. So,
I think the idea of using fate point or luck points might help with some of that, too. So they can avoid those sorts of situations from time to time. So.
Oh, yeah. No problem. Yeah, it's real good. It's doable. It is doable. It's not impossible, but it's difficult.
Okay, cool. I guess, I don't know. Let's see what they have to say out there about tips for running solo adventures. I'd like to hear what other people have to do and what they've done in the past. So they can
Yes, absolutely.
Or go on osrgaming.org/forums and join in on the fun there as we talk on there and people debate new rules as opposed to old rules. Nick.
What?
Nothing. And we'll head into our next segment.
As the secret portal yields to your efforts, you stand amazed at a vision from the most fevered dreams of avarice. Before you lies the Dragon's Hoard.
And now we go to the Dragon's Hoard, and we're going back to the Oriental Adventures for our item. And yet again, this can be carried by one person and not 20 like that minion.
Oh, yeah, I have like 58 people carrying one magical item.
Yes, because this is a very small item. It's actually just a small bell, 6 inches long with 4 inches in diameter. It's the Bell of Warning. This is a little bell that will start ringing whenever someone that's invisible, ethereal, or astral comes within 30 feet of it. It also has the same effect for any character trying to move silently or hide in shadows within the radius. And it continues doing this until the detected presence leaves that area or 3d6 hours pass. So basically, it's an alarm system for your players or building or whatnot. So, I mean, I can see this being used in all sorts of ways. The only thing I have with it is that 3d6 time. You don't know how long it'll last. So when you go to enable the bell, you could have rolled a 3. So as your party goes to sleep for the night, thinking this bell's going to wake them up if someone tries to sneak up on them, it could go off. It could stop working after 3 hours. Or it could work for 18. You just don't know.
Well, it's the bell. The bell has a long history with this whole thing. Probably they got it from many religions use a bell to ward off evil spirits or clean the air of evil spirits or have them show you. Like if you ever gone to church, Catholic church, they always ring bells before ceremonies.
Yeah, back in the old Roman Catholic Latin mass. Yes.
Pagans do it with their rituals. The Chinese and the Japanese both use bells to cleanse their houses when they first move into just the evil spirit. It's kind of like when the Centurion lab, they use the sage when they burn inside people's houses for evil spirits.
Right.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
You would ring the bell to ward off spirits. There's a lot of history with a bell. And
I think what they mean by when it lasts for 3d6 hours, I think they meant once it goes off, it lasts for 3d6 hours. Or am I reading that wrong?
No, it says each activation.
When you ring the bell, the effects last for 3d6 hours, not the bell ringing for 3d6 hours.
No, the command word is spoken, the bell activates. So when you give the command word to use the bell, that's when it activates. So the timer starts.
Oh, okay.
Then that's where I'm like,
I don't think the bell rings for 3d6 hours.
No, that's just how long it'll actually detect before it shuts itself off. At which point, using it as an alarm system is kind of spotty, actually. Because
you could do is if you're lacking people and you have this bell, and say you're in a ancient temple or something for the night sleeping, ring this bell, and for at least 3 hours you can get a solid sleep without being disturbed.
Right.
Now, would an identify spell be able to tell you how long it would last and how many charges it has?
I would say so.
Depending DM in the campaign.
Yeah. I mean, I would have no problem with that for this.
I would definitely do what it is, but not the charges.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Hell's bells. That's the only thing that comes to my mind. Ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling.
Yeah.
I think this could be very handy when you're talking about, when you're camping out in the wilderness, and you want to make sure all the party gets a good night's sleep, at least for the majority of the evening. This is a great, device to use.
Right. Yeah. Should you ever be chased by a Nika? There you
go.
Yeah, it'll give you that little bit of warning not much considering how fast it moves, but still, you'll at least be awake when it shocks you.
Yeah, I did a variation of this in my campaign actually the other night with the Oriental Adventures. I had the person, they found the bell on the tree, and they rang it. And instead of warding off evil spirits, I had the bell actually showed the tree spirit where they found and the tree spirit was a good spirit who actually was trying to help the party. So when they rang the bell, only that person saw the spirit who communicated with him. Okay. So it was kind of an interesting take on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to say in Oriental Adventures, they have some of the most unique magic items I've ever seen in a game. You know, and this being one of them, and there's another one, this Banner of Protection. So,
yeah,
I mean, there's some really interesting ways you can make various different magic items on what in this culture, deem to be useful and magical.
Yeah, it's like I can even see, say, if you have players trying to break in to someone's house or going through somewhere they shouldn't be. I could even see, and they're trying to move silently. I could see having these bells placed throughout, say, someone's house. So that way, as the players are sneaking through, these bells start going off.
And this is your alarm system.
Exactly. I mean, there's just so much use to it. The only thing I just get hung up on is that the randomness of, you don't know when you activate it, you don't know how long it's going to work.
Right. That's where I guess you would have that identify spell, nice and handy.
Right.
So it's like, okay, how long is this thing going to last?
Right. And you'd have to do that every time you enable it, which is quite a bit considering it has 3D10 charges.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, you're going to get a lot of use out of it. You just don't know exactly how long any given use will be.
Yeah. 5 minutes or 5 hours, who knows?
Yes. Yes, you'll hear this ringing and be like, oh, there's an intruder. We're not exactly sure where. Oh, the bell went off. They left. Yes. Then you proceed to be destroyed by like an invisible servant. Because the timer ran out.
That'd be the invisible servant. Would that show the invisible servant like as a gas, like a dust cloud in the sky? Or
no, it's strictly the ringing of the bell says something's within 30 feet. That's all it does. It doesn't tell you where it is. It just says it's within 30 feet radius of the bell. That's all. So it's really just an alarms, a very rudimentary alarm system.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not too overpowered, and it's like this invisible fiend is over here. It's just, there's something. So you could even use it to build suspicion. Perhaps if they strung one up on a tree outside, there's a wind. It blows, so the bell starts ringing because of the wind, and they're thinking, uh-oh, something's here. The bell's going off.
I can just see some people doing that too.
Yeah, so you could have some fun with it as well. But yeah, I like it. I mean, I would probably end up changing it to where each bell has like a fixed amount of time it will always work, as opposed to making it random every activation. But other than that, I could definitely see using this. So we want to hear what you out there in listener land have to say about the Bell of Warning and any other things relating to Oriental Adventure magic items, because, like Nick said, there's a lot of very unique things that you just won't find anywhere else, thanks to the cultural influence in this book. So, anyways, write us at rfistaff@gmail.com, or you can go to the OSR Gaming Forums and let us know. And now we are going to continue in the Oriental Adventures, but this time, though, we're heading to the Creature Feature Theater.
That is not dead which can eternal life, and with strange eons even death may die.
I welcome the unwary to the Creature Feature Theater.
Okay, Creature Feature Theater this week. Looking again at the Oriental Adventures, if you flip open to page 126, we're going to be talking about the, as I can only describe it, as the Oni. I'm not really well with Japanese words. But
Oni.
Oni, yeah. Basically, in Japanese terms, the Oni, and for this book, is basically a fearsome spirit that dwells in the desolate or forbidding places. You can use an Oni in many different ways. If you look at some legend and lore history on the Oni, the Japanese say the Oni was a gigantic creature with sharp claws, looking mostly like an ogre or an ogre spirit. They're humanoid for the most part, and they're usually different colors. They have odd number of eyes, extra fingers. They could be black, they could be green, they could be orange. They are mostly story tales to frighten children, from what I'm taking. The Chinese associate with the Oni as spirits or gods that cause disasters and disease or other pleasant things. In Buddhism, they consider the Oni as equivalent to the people that punish sinners in hell. So because it's a pretty nasty creature. I've used these creatures many times. In fact, I used it in the campaign last night that the Oni will possess people and just come pouring out of people, and they're usually born of anger or of some type of rage. But the book describes them as basically as ogres or ogre magi. So
it says like the blue skin Oni, they're more common. They're known as the ogre magi. So ogre magi are Oni. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty much what they are. That's a Japanese version of, or Oriental version, I should say, of an ogre. But since it says lesser spirit and then it goes to ogre, I kind of relate them more to being the ancient lith of the spirit. And I don't know if you've ever there's various Japanese anime like Inuyasha. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Oh yeah.
A lot of those creatures that he fights are Onis. So, and Legend of the Five Rings RPG, I'm very familiar with that, and they base a lot of their adventures on Onis. So, Will, what do you think about the creature itself?
Oh, Onis, I think they're great creatures. I like how they look because they're really fearsome looking. And we take into the fact that they are lesser spirits. Their alignments, vary between lawful evil to lawful neutral, which the common Oni is lawful evil. So I consider that more of an infernal related creature. It's how can I say it? It's methodical. It keeps its word. Like a lawful evil creature, of course. And the lawful neutral ones, like the Gozu and the Mizu. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know how to pronounce those things anyway. They're much more rare and everything. They're lawful neutral alignment. So again, you're still dealing with creatures that are very, how can I say it? They're just rough creatures. I like them. I mean, they're huge though. They're almost giant size. What, 9 feet, 8 feet, 9 feet, 10 feet tall?
Well,
some of them.
The Gozu Onu is really tall with a horse-shaped head. So.
Oh, that's right. That's one with the horse head. Yeah. So I mean, I like them. They have a lot of practical use in the Oriental Adventures campaign. Don't be shocked if a good portion of them are going to be behind some of the adventure, plots and everything because they fit in perfectly. They fit in perfectly.
I agree.
Yeah, and then the common Oni actually can turn invisible, so you see why people would have those bells of warning.
Yeah. Considering that you can have anywhere from 1 to 100 appearing. The common Oni.
Right.
Well, I mean, when you say 1 to 100, I think that was probably where they live at or where they dwell at. Yeah. I'm not certain you would run into that many at one time. That's called TPK.
Yeah.
Well, especially with it being an 8 hit dice creature, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
What's funny is looking at this though. It says percent in lair. The chance to find it's only 10%, and it's listing the number appearing 1 through 100.
Yeah.
So that's just like, really?
Well, basically, what they used to do is they like what Will said. Mostly they use chainmail for a lot of these numbers.
Yeah.
So they're basically, I guess, off army sizes. I would assume.
Yeah.
And the special ability is like the Gozu or the Mizu. Pretty impressive. They both can regenerate 3 hit points per round.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The Gozu? They can polymorph self, cause fear, become invisible, fly, and cast fire shuriken at will. That's pretty cool.
No, they're not casting fire shuriken at me. They just fire whenever they want to. No, it's an at will power.
Yeah. They could cast fire shuriken. Oh, I got it.
Duh.
I got it. I got it.
They're not casting it at me. No, but look at the strength, though. but look at the strength, though. The Gozu is a hill giant strength. That Mizu Oni is like a stone giant strength.
Yeah.
They hit hard. They're nasty.
Yeah.
Now, if it's funny when you look at the hit dice now, because the hit dice of the Gozu is less than the hit dice of the Gozu is more than that of the Mizu or Meizu.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess one's bigger than the other. It's just strange, but yeah, they're powerful creatures. Yeah.
Like I said, you can use them as by the book here, or you can use them in the variation I have. I just use them as spirits that possess people, then they come out. I kind of like to give it that little twist of difference. I follow a lot of the anime more than just the book, so
okay.
When it comes to these evil spirits, like I watched a lot of the Inuyasha, which a lot of those spirits came out of people as opposed to just showing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which makes a little more sense, but that's that creature pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could even see using this in non-Oriental adventure campaigns. You have some sort of cult trying to summon a Mizu and just have it wreak havoc upon the land or something. I mean,
wow.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned this creature because in the latest Pathfinder adventure modules that are out right now, the next one is released this month. This will be the last one in the 6th series. It's called the Jade Regent, and it covers the whole spectrum of Oni and all those Japanese-related, monsters and spirits and everything. And I'm going to tell you, they're hideous. These things ain't no joke. They're no joke whatsoever. But it's funny that you brought up Oni because they got a nice picture of one on there with its 3 eyes and the horns on its head. It's real big, and it's got that funny looking mouth where they got that kind of like they got a grin of a mouth. They got all the teeth poking out and everything. It's kind of weird looking.
Yeah, kind of like it was like a 2-year-old draw the teeth or something like that.
Yeah, it's real weird looking, but yeah, they're nasty.
All right, cool. Tell us what you think about the Oni and write us rfistaff@gmail.com. Well, I guess that's going to end the show tonight, and
yeah, quick one this week, huh?
Yeah. Remember, go to facebook.com/RFI podcast, and if you haven't liked us or fanned us, please do it now.
Please like us.
Please like us, yes. And go to epicwords.com/Finn, Fin, if you want to follow along with the actual play podcast. That should be out shortly as soon as I'm done editing it, so you can listen to it, and you'll be able to go to rfiactualplay.tk. Listen.
Hey, I forgot to mention something.
What's that?
Very soon we're going to have a contest. So
oh, right.
Yeah, very soon we're going to have a contest. So I'm not going to reveal what the contest is going to be, but let me tell you what the prize will be. It's going to be a full set of the AD&D modules being released by Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, the core rule books.
The core rule books, those 3 that's going to be released in April or March or May, whenever they're coming out. That's what the prize is going to be.
Cool. So you're going to get a set of reprints courtesy of DM Will.
Well, it's going to be the RFI staff.
Well, courtesy of the RFI staff, yes. But we won't tell you what it is now because we're writing out the actual contest terms because we want to make sure that it's not just like one person entering and then everyone else going, whatever.
Yeah, that's going to be the sad part because there are going to be minimum prerequisites for this contest to actually take place. So maximum participation is highly recommended. So at least someone out there can get something very nice for nothing. Yeah. A little bit of elbow grease, your hands might get a little tired, but you know what? This is what makes these contests fun. And when I look, when you look at what the prize is all about, I would think that someone would put, the extra effort into doing it because, hey, this is a limited release of these 3 books, and you're not paying for it.
Exactly. But I just want to give you a teaser. That's about it. And as soon as we, probably next episode, we'll have the rules laid out for you. We'll post it in the forums, tell you how to do it and how to get in contact with us, and we'll go from there.
That is correct, because next week we will actually go ahead and state the rules and what it's going to be.
You got it. I guess that's going to end the show, so I'm going to say keep it original, keep it old school, and good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Roll for initiative.